Probiotics have gained an immense amount of popularity in the recent years for all of their health benefits. They are loaded with healthy flora and healthy yeasts that can actually benefit our gut microbiome greatly. But however, it's tough and maybe kind of confusing on what kind of probiotic you need. And so today I'm going to take a deep dive into looking at the differences between probiotics and specifically looking at single-strain probiotic versus a multi-strain probiotic. My name is Marcy Vasky, and I'm a licensed nutritionist with Fluso Nutrients, where we want to provide you with education on quality professional supplements. And while we'll talk about supplements in all of our videos, it is really important to make sure that any supplement you do take is something that is right for you. And so we always do recommend that you talk to a supplement literate professional so that you're making sure that they're not contraindicating with anything else you may be taking, such as a different kind of medication or even a supplement in general. But let's dig into our topic today, which is single-strain probiotic versus multi-strain probiotic, and which is going to be better for your gut. But before we kind of parse those apiece, what I wanted to kind of explain and educate on is what a probiotic is in the first place. And a probiotic is, like I mentioned earlier, a healthy type of flora and yeast that can help provide a more diverse gut microbiome, which when we have a more diverse gut microbiome, we have a healthy gut. Now, what's even more exciting about probiotics, you're going to have a healthier gut when you have a more diverse microbiome, but probiotics go far beyond the gut, and they can also help to reduce inflammation in the body. They can help to restore a healthier immune function. They can also help in weight reduction. So if you're considering a probiotic, continue to listen as I'm going to break down single-strain versus multi-strain probiotics. Now, as the name suggests, single-strain probiotics are just that. They're made up of one specific type of bacteria or yeast. And in a multi-strain probiotic, it's exactly what it says. It has multiple strains of either a bacteria or yeast or a combination of both. So whether you choose a single-strain probiotic or a multi-strain probiotic, the important thing to remember is the efficacy of the product itself. So when looking to choose a probiotic, you want to make sure that it has been third-party tested. There is transparency with the company as far as where they got the product from. And it's tested for potency as well, especially with probiotics. Now, most times we're going to be looking for strains up in towards like 10 to 25 billion CFUs. But of course, as you continue to listen to the video and learn a little bit more about that, it really comes down to what is best for your gut. Now, when thinking about choosing a multi-strain probiotic, the advantages of doing so is that it can help to support many different functions within the gut simultaneously. So, for example, if you have a multi-strain probiotic, you could be hitting something for good gut health. It can help reduce inflammation. And of course, part of it could be helping to increase the immune system. And the advantages of choosing a single-strain probiotic is that if there is something very targeted that you're looking to help support, such as maybe you have a yeast overgrowth, therefore maybe just taking a specific strain that will help combat that is going to be best. Or if you are lactose intolerant and you're wanting to help build back up some lactase in the body or in the help to support that kind of probiotic or flora, then you'll want to stick with one that can do just so. And so, as I said, it's really specific to what you're looking for, what your goal is with your gut health. Some of those single-strain probiotics aren't going to be as diverse as what we're always talking about, have a diverse gut microbiome. But if you're looking for really targeted care, there are certain strains that are going to be most helpful. For example, if you are someone who struggles with lactose intolerant, Lactobacillus acidophilus is going to be a great option in helping break down that lactose in the body. There is also Bifidobacterium infidus, what can help very much alleviate irritable bowel syndrome. So if you're one that is feeling like been diagnosed with IBS, or you're just having a real irritable bowel, adding in that Bifidobacterium infidus can be helpful. There's also going to be Saccharomyces boulardii. So if you've taken an antibiotic, it's been shown to be really helpful in repairing and helping to increase good flora and yeast in our digestive system after an antibiotic, as well as it helps to kind of balance out candida, that yeast that we all have in our gut, keep it nice and steady. Saccharomyces boulardii can also be helpful if you are taking an antibiotic and tend to get diarrhea with it. You want to put that on board. So you may be thinking, okay, well, single strain makes a lot of sense, but I don't need anything quite that targeted. So then you would take a look at multi-strain probiotics. Within this, what it's called, multi-strain, we know that there's many different strains within that probiotic of different bacteria or yeast. And what's nice about this is it's a blend usually of different probiotics and yeast that can help to reduce inflammation, improve our immune system, and definitely improve our gut health. And the other piece of that is that we're always talking about diversity of having a good, diverse gut microbiome. And when taking a multi-strain probiotic, you're obviously adding in more diverse kinds of bacteria and possibly yeast, depending what you've chosen. And so therefore, using multi-strains can be really helpful if you're want to hit a lot of things at one time, or if you just need a little bit of extra support to help support maybe your immune system or your gut health, and you just want the benefit of reducing inflammation, for example. Or if you are kind of in maintenance, you've done a lot of work to, heal up your gut and things are looking really good, but you just want a little extra support, choosing a multi-strain probiotic is typically going to be a better choice. Now, of course, there are certain kinds of strains that work really nice together, and we're going to go through a few of those. Now, one strain or two strains that work really nice together is Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium bifidum. And in combination, they can really promote just a nice ground for a healthy gut, as well as improve your digestion overall and really enhance our immune function. So those two together, if you're looking for just kind of maintenance, that works great. And then there's also Lactobacillus remus, as well as Bifidobacterium lactis. And that combination together is really going to be helpful for alleviating IBS symptoms. So if you're really struggling a lot with IBS flares, or you just feel like you're always in a flare, taking in those two together are going to give you the most bang for your buck. And then the last one that I'll talk about is Lactobacilli casei and also Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus acidophilus. So there's three of them together that in a combination really have a diverse range of benefits, all the way from just improving our digestion to enhancing our immune function and reducing our inflammation. So you can see that when I'm talking about multi-strain, it doesn't mean that there's, 7 or 20 different strains of bacteria or yeast within the probiotic. Sometimes just a few, 2, 3 is going to be good enough to give you that good benefit that you need. Now, as I've talked a lot about already, probiotics are super beneficial for your gut, but there are some side effects from taking probiotics. And it's not as though they last the whole time you take them. Sometimes it just happens in the beginning. And as you start taking probiotics, you might notice you're a little bit more bloated or a little gassy, or even have some diarrhea or constipation. It could go the other way. And that's just from the good bacteria repopulating with healthy flora and getting rid of some of the bad or imbalanced flora that we don't need. And so sometimes we can have those symptoms. The best way to, kind of counteract that is just to start the probiotic more slowly. So how do you know what you need? I think you need to kind of reflect on the symptoms that you're having, if you're even having symptoms, and see what you want to work with first. As I said, single strain probiotics are very specific in nature, and they work to kind of improve one thing at a time. While multi-strain probiotics are going to be most helpful in increasing that diversity of the microbiome and then acting simultaneously to help improve digestion, inflammation, even our immune system. And so now that you've maybe come up with, okay, I think I'm going to go for this one, but how do I choose one? The way that you want to choose one is to be sure that it has been third-party tested, comes from a reputable company. And if you have questions on that, go to Fluso Nutrients. All of those supplements there are going to be third-party tested, very reputable company. And you can see then exactly what strains are in each probiotic that you choose. Also, you want to understand the transparency of the company and where they're getting their products from. The last thing you want to look at is the CFUs. So how many bacteria do you really need? And I usually recommend for my clients anywhere from 10 to even 25 billion CFUs. Sometimes we go a little higher in that depending on their symptoms, but I think it's a safe range to say anywhere from 10 to 25 CFUs per day. And that usually works really well. It's gentle on the gut and you get the benefits of your probiotic. So now that you've chosen the kind of the probiotic you want to take and you know what to look for when choosing a probiotic, how do you do it, right? How do you take that probiotic? And are there things that can get in the way of this? So ideally, taking probiotics will be best taken 10 to 15 minutes prior to a meal on an empty stomach. Most people like to do them in the morning. However, when I do start people on a probiotic, I always encourage them to take it in the evening or before their dinner meal. That way, if they do have any of, gas or bloating, they really don't have to deal with it the whole day. And if you're beginning, and you're kind of, wondering, well, how am I going to react to this? I usually start people, just take it every other day for 7 to 10 days. If everything feels good, go ahead and start taking it every day and switch it to the morning time before your breakfast meal. Now, when thinking about other supplements or even medication that might interact with a probiotic, really it's just antibacterials and also antifungals. So if you're on an antibiotic, you definitely don't want to take your probiotic at the same time. It's ideal to take a probiotic at least 4 hours away from any antibiotic. And not so you can take them, but you just don't want to take them together. And as far as taking other supplements with your probiotic, there isn't any supplement interactions that should create less, breakdown of the probiotic within your gut. So I hope that this was helpful to give you some idea on where to start when you're looking for probiotics, because as I said in the beginning of the video, there's so much information out there on probiotics. It can get confusing on where to really even start, because how or which probiotic is going to be most helpful for you, right? And so by understanding the differences between single strain probiotic versus multi-strain probiotic, and understanding how they can help you and which independent on, what you're really looking to accomplish. And also, take advice from, starting that probiotic a little more slowly, especially if you're new to it, and then definitely doing it every day. There's nothing negative about probiotics. They can only be helpful. So I hope this was good for you, and please leave comments below if you have questions. We're always happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.